You know, Witt's an incredibly easy guy to talk about. He's one of the best and most complete tight ends ever to play this game. The stats and the credentials speak for themselves. But, you know, the games played, the games started, the 11 Pro Bowls, the 1,100 catches, 12,000 yards, they don't really begin to tell the story. Over the last 15 years, he's played virtually every play. He doesn't come out of the game. We ask him to block on the line of scrimmage, point of attack. We're running the ball behind you. We ask you to block on the backside. We motion you into the backfield, lead up on a linebacker. We ask you to pass protect against the best rushers in the league. We ask you to win as a pass receiver, short, medium, deep. We ask you to make all the critical plays in all the critical moments. But that doesn't really tell the story either. He's simply the best example I know of what you want a football player and a person to be on and off the field. The number of times I told young players, veteran players, every player, watch number 82, do it like he does it. It was incredible. He's an easy guy to talk about, but he's also a hard guy to talk about. We've had a lot of talks through the years, a lot of talks the last couple weeks. Sometimes you can't get out what you want to say. It's too emotional. The depth of the appreciation and the admiration and the love and respect makes it hard to convey your words. There's nobody I respect more as a person, as a football player, than Jason Witten. I can't imagine ever respecting someone more as a football player and as a person than Jason Witten. It's fitting and appropriate that the theme that we have for our football team this year is the verb, respect, to respect. And we shared it with our team a couple weeks ago on day one of the off-season program. And the premise is this: if you want to earn the noun respect at the end of your life or at the end of your career, the path to doing that is to demonstrate the verb respect, to respect, in everything you do throughout your life and throughout your career. We talked to our team about respecting yourself and your talents and your opportunity, and respecting your teammates and your coaches and staff members, respecting the game, respecting the details and the process to be the best you can be, respecting your opponents, respecting the history and tradition of those who came before us. I simply don't know a better guy, a guy who's earned the noun respect because he demonstrated the verb respect throughout his whole life and throughout his whole career, more than Jason Witten. One of the things we shared with our team in that meeting was respecting the standards that we've established. Make no mistake about it, Jason Witten is the standard. He's the standard. He's the standard as a person and as a football player. He's what we want every Dallas Cowboy football player to be as a person, as a player, on and off the field for the end of time. You know, there are hundreds of Witten stories. Hundreds. They go on and on and on. We can tell them all night. I'm going to share one with you. It's about Y option. In 2015 in training camp, we asked some of our veteran players, our best players, our leaders, to make presentations to the team at our night meetings. And we wanted them to do something that was related to football. And so Witt went first, and we talked about, he said, hey, I want to talk about Y option. This is his play, signature play. He's got over 1,100 catches. Probably half of them are on Y option. He caught 18 balls against the Giants a few years ago. Probably half of those were on Y option. The signal was this. He'd look at me and say, give me Y option. We just called it. He said it. It's one of the great givens in all of sports. They say Abdul-Jabbar's sky hook was the greatest given. I'll put Witten's Y option against it any day of the week. So the presentation that night took about a half an hour. For those of you guys who are here or were in the room, you remember what I'm talking about. It was simply the greatest presentation I've ever seen in football. The demonstration, the detail of what he does on this particular route was mind-boggling. He talked about his stance, where his weight is, where his hand is, how he releases versus defender, inside or outside, based on his alignment. He talked about the number of steps he takes, if the guy's inside leverage or outside leverage, how he runs the routes. He talked about his eyes, his shoulders, his hips, his feet, the angle he's taking coming out, what he's doing with the ball after he catches it. It was just like nothing I'd ever seen. A lot of coaches, really good coaches who have been doing it for a long time, we all looked at each other and said, wow. Completely blown away by it. He finishes the presentation with a clip. It was a clip of one play from the previous season. We played Detroit in the playoff game at our stadium, and the situation was 4th and 6 with just over 6 minutes to go in the game. We were down by 3. We're on the plus 42-yard line. And so we said, we're going for it. This is the play of the game. We called Y option. Detroit plays two-man. Two-man means they're going to rush 4, have 2 deep safeties, and all the cover guys can play underneath their man because they got help. If you look back on it, Y option is probably not a great call versus two-man. If you run Y option 100 times versus this look, 95 times the option is to break out. So Witten, who knows this play better than anybody on the planet, gets up to the top of the route. He feels the defender sink underneath him and play to the outside. He puts his right foot in the ground, gives a little head nod, circles back inside. Romo moves, delivers a strike between the 8 and the 2. It turns up the field, 21-yard gain. 6 plays later, Romo to Terrence Williams for a touchdown, the game winner. So Witt takes the next couple minutes talking about what he saw and what he felt. It was great. But then he stops, and he says, I'll tell you why this play really worked. And he said, I want you to look at Dez Bryant here. He's our ex-receiver. They play two-man for one reason. Dez Bryant. They need a guy underneath. They need a guy on top. Dez Bryant's one of the best receivers in the National Football League. He deserves that attention. Then he talked about the offensive line, Tyron Smith and his set, and how he used his hands and where his eyes were, and how he punched and scratched and clawed and fought. He talked about Ron Lear, our left guard, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin working inside, working together, passing things off, scratching, clawing, fighting until the end of the down. Talked about Jeremy Parnell, our right tackle, his set, and how he was battling to somehow keep the rusher away from Romo. He talked about Cole Beasley and Terrence Williams taking outside releases, turning the defender's eyes away from him and running the safety off so he'd be isolated. He talked about DeMarco Murray, his protection assignment, running a swing, get that linebacker out of there so I can break inside. And he talked about Romo, the greatness of Romo, his toughness, mental toughness, physical toughness, his instincts, his awareness to kind of hang in there with him. The guys that were on the bus together in 2003 from the hotel to the facility, it all came alive on 4th and 6. Romo slid, threw it between the 8 and the 2, and he went. So it struck me that this play, his signature play, where he made it at the critical moment,
sure, Jason Witten,
he didn't make it about him.
Space on my phone.
He did what he always does. He makes it about everybody else.
Oh, Jason Garrett's crying.
He made it about the team.
And he cried.
We
Jason
finished
Witten
up the
retired,
meeting
and he cried.
2 weeks ago, the meeting on respect with a video.
I'm about to cry.
And in that video, we shared that commercial. You guys remember it that Nike did for Derek Jeter when he retired? It introduces Jeter. He gets in the batter's box. He's digging in, and John Lester, the pitcher for the Red Sox, pulls his hand off the ball and tips his cap to Jeter. And then for the next 90 seconds, They show everybody tipping their cap to Jeter. New York City firemen and policemen, Yankee fans, Red Sox fans, Yankee players, Red Sox players, luminaries from all across New York and all across the sports world tipping their cap to Derek Jeter. And I was sitting in the front row as we were watching this video as a team, and all I could think about was Jason Witten. And all I could think about, if you want to earn the noun respect at the end of your life and at the end of your career, do the verb respect in everything you do. In everything you do. So on this retirement day for you, Whit, I want to tip my cap to you. And I encourage everybody to tip your cap to Jason Witten and show that respect to him like he's done for all of us.
Hello.
The other thing that I'm going to do, though, on top of tipping my cap, is one of the things I'm most privileged to do. I've done it hundreds of times when he's come off the field and in so many other settings. I like to sneak a jab in right to his chest. I like to do that. And the number of times I've said, hell of a job, Whit. Hell of a job, Whit. On the field, off the field, that's what he's done. So when you reflect back on these 15 years and your 35 years on this planet, you've done a hell of a job. And we've all been really privileged to be a part of this journey with you. Thank you for being who you are, for what you've done, for setting the standard that you have. I love you very much. I'm going to miss you.